Good morning, and welcome to Meditation Lesson 4, Video 1. Now, hopefully, if you're watching my talking head, it means that you've already been through the numerous videos of the first, second, and third sets of meditation lessons. If you haven't, if this is your first time, then you are just setting yourself up for confusion and frustration, and I don't recommend it. About an inch or three below this video, there's a button that reads Show More. When you give that bad boy a click, it'll reveal a list of links as long as my arm. The first link you'll come across is to a page where the first 3 lessons and all their many video components are listed. That's where you'll want to begin. Lesson 1, Video 1. Now, if you say, hey, Lama, Jigme, I've been meditating for 20 years, then my response is good, then you should know all about humility. Okay, now, if you've already been through your preliminary videos, and you know that this is a commentary on the first set of lesson texts, you simply got to get your hands on the latest free version of this PDF. So use the appropriate link below. I think it's the label on the link says class materials. That's where you'll want to begin. So pause me, open up that PDF, and you're going to be good to go. All right. Assuming you have integrity and intelligence and you've done all that. So I invite you to join me on page 129. You'll know you're on the right page. Now sometimes the numbering can be a bit wonky, so you'll know you are on the right page if the first heading you read says Powa's Rebirth Training. That's how you know you're on the right page. So what is Powa? Powa is a Tibetan word that's become associated with a segment of the 6 yogas of Naropa known as Transference of Consciousness at the time of death, or to be more precise, rehearsal and preparation for transference of consciousness at the time of death. Now, I gotta warn you, not everyone loves yours truly. A lot of people think good old Lama Jigme is either a self-deceived fool, a charlatan, or downright Satan himself. I got news for you. If I was Satan, I'd give myself more health and considerably better patronage. So, a lot of people don't like that this super secret spooky teaching is being taught publicly, but it's easy enough to perform and it can help us. So what is this whole transference of consciousness thing? Well, there are 2 pillars of the Buddha's wisdom teachings. Do you remember what they are? This is a pop quiz. If you can't answer this question, if you don't know what the 2 pillars of Buddha's wisdom teaching are, probably need to go back to Lesson 1, Video 1. What are the 2 pillars of Buddha's wisdom teachings? Interdependence and impermanence. Now, if you prefer C's more than I's, you would say causality and change. One of the things I truly love about Buddhism, when it is taught properly, is that it does not require blind faith or rigid dogmatism. On the contrary, one has but to open their eyes, take a look at the natural world around them, and see change and impermanence as plain as day. With the passing of every season, we can see the impermanence of a year. With the waxing and the waning of the moon, we we can see the impermanence of a month. With the rise and set of the sun, we can see the impermanence of a day. And even now, right now, we put our hands on our rib cage. We can take a big breath in. We can release the breath and feel our chest sink. And observe the impermanence of a moment. That is why it is written, ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. I'm reminded of the words of my first stepfather. One time we were in a traffic jam, and he said to me, quite pleased with himself, "Do you know the definition of, or the difference between comedy and tragedy?" "Well, I'll tell ya. Comedy is when you, young man, slip and fall on a banana peel. Tragedy is when I slip and fall on a banana peel." We are all self-centered, and we measure the importance of everything by how it affects or seems to affect us. Who can forget A Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens, also known as Scrooge? Towards the second to the last chapter of the book, when Scrooge is having his adventure with the ghost of Christmas future, he is a little bit sentimental at the thought of Tiny Tim. But when he comes face to face with his own grave, that is what cuts him to the quick. All of us are affected deeply by the thought of our own mortality. Now, a Buddhist fundamentalist would say, yes, therefore think about your death, get good and scared, and therefore choose to be moral. As a liberal, I just don't condone that type of foolishness, even though the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet says, oh no, fear's a good thing. It's been my experience that it's not. There's rigidity and self-centeredness and foolishness, and it's just more suffering. But being mindful of the inevitability of our eventual death. I mean, come on. Even Lao Tzu, Christ, and Buddha died. Most likely you will too, as will I. But contemplating the inevitability of our own future demise leads us to think about impermanence in a more visceral, less scholarly level. One of the things we can do is recognize that death is a scary thing. Why? Why can death be a scary thing? Because it makes us feel things that we are not accustomed to. It has been explained by my teachers and by their teachers and so forth that as we perish, it is as if our psychic energies and our mental sense awareness is collapsing inward upon ourselves as our mind and our energy is forcefully coalesced within our central channel. Buddha, I'm told a story that was particularly chilling. He told the tale of a beautiful woman who really enjoyed being a beautiful woman. And when a plague came to her village, and she too died, she wasn't ready to let go of her body and transmigrate. Her refusal, Buddha insisted, to leave her body caused her to take rebirth as one of the maggots consuming her own cadaver. Well, gee, Buddha, thanks for the good night story. I'll be sure to have plenty of nightmares. Well done. I like the idea that Buddha was not simply a sadistic camp counselor come to scare us before bed. I like the idea that Buddha told his story for a point. The point is that grasping, habitual, white-knuckle grasping, and failure to train ourselves to let go, even when it's scary, can have dire consequences. A fundamentalist will tell you that training ourselves to prepare for the moment of death is done chiefly to prevent an inauspicious rebirth. A liberal will tell you that the training to deal with the last moment, or the moment of death, is done to help us get comfortable with letting go, even when it's the most scary. A Buddhist fundamentalist, particularly a tantric one, or a Mahayana Buddhist fundamentalist, would say there is absolutely a Buddhist pure land. There's a pure land for Amitabha, and the 3 Amitabha Sutras tell us exactly where it is, and how far it is, and what it looked like, and what it's comprised of. The Tantric fundamentalist will tell us that Chenrezig, the Buddha of compassion, was so devoted to his teacher Amitabha that he made sure his Pure Land manifested within his teachers. According to the fundamentalist teachings, Amitabha's Pure Land, or Buddhist paradise, is known as Sukhavati, which translates from the Sanskrit into English as Land of Ultimate Bliss. Sounds promising. Just as California is a subset of the United States of America, likewise Chenrezig's Buddhist paradise, named Potala, or Mount Potala, is found within his teacher's, Amitabha's, Sukhavati, paradise of ultimate bliss. The fundamentalists tell us this is a real place. You need to take rebirth there. Once there, you'll be able to better bless others whom you've left behind and better complete the path. And those are the points of view of Buddhist fundamentalists. Bless their hearts. I, however, am not a Buddhist fundamentalist. I teach the liberal perspective of Buddhism. As a fundamentalist says, yes, we have had innumerable lives, and we will continue to have innumerable lives. Many lives, it's life-orama. A liberal, an extreme liberal, a middle-of-the-road liberal would say, I don't know if I've had previous lives. I don't know if I've had past lives. I might. I'm open to the possibility, but I don't know. A liberal might say, I don't know if there's an actual Pure Land. There may be, and it's cool with me if it is. Who doesn't like bliss? But the Pure Land could merely serve as a metaphor for an auspicious rebirth, where we have the physical capabilities, the neurological and intellectual capabilities, the emotional requirements, as well to practice the teachings, as well as being born into a suitable family where we have our needs met that will support us on our journey, and being born in a country and in a time and in a place where the Buddhist teachings flourish. So, from a liberal point of view, or a middle-of-the-road liberal point of view, the Pure Land could simply be a metaphor for auspicious rebirth. Now, let's buckle up and brace ourselves for the extreme liberal view. The extreme liberal view is there may not be previous lives. There might not be future lives. This might be it. I don't know for sure. If that is the case, then perhaps the Pure Land is simply a metaphor to always having the emotional, intellectual wherewithal to practice the Dharma, regardless of whatever manifests, be it glorious or be it grotesque. And maybe it's also a metaphor for always being in a circumstance that is conducive to our study and practice of the teachings. So there you have it. The fundamentalist, the moderate liberal, and the extreme liberal perspectives. Which do I believe? I don't believe. Remember the earlier videos. Belief is a trap. Belief is grasping. Belief is rigidity. It's motivated by fear. It gives birth to intolerance, which gives birth to rage and aggression. Belief and all its trappings are injurious to our spiritual journey. But as a liberal, which idea do I find the most empowering? They're all useful for different situations. So I don't choose. I'm aware of the possibilities, and I just practice in the most empowered way. Never trust a man who has an answer for everything. There's far more courage, far more wisdom in saying, I don't know. It could be any of these possibilities, or one I have yet to encounter. There's tremendous freedom and spaciousness in that type of flexibility. In the second lesson, or second set of videos of the second lesson, we've already discussed the verbal practice of Powa's rebirth training. So quick review. O Mani Padme Hum, Potala rebirth for me. O Mani Padme Hum, Potala rebirth for all. O Mani Padme Hum, completely letting go. Now, if you have no idea what I just did or why, then you need to review all the videos of the second lesson. By way of reminder, the snapping helps draw our awareness and our attention to the place above our crown chakra. One of the useful things about choosing to exit our body through our crown chakra and rehearsing to exit our body through our crown chakra is that it helps us to let go. In prior lessons, you've learned how, well, actually, not yet. In this set of lesson videos, you're going to learn about the root chakra and how it, and its many various uses in sex play as well as tantric meditation. But that really anchors you to your body. Whereas the crown chakra does the opposite. It makes it easier for us to let go of our body. Now this, the 6 lines of the verbal Powa rebirth training are super easy. And very controversial because fundamentalists prefer elitist and difficult and spooky practices. And if there's an easier way to do it, they don't want to hear about it. They want to put their hands over their ears and go, la 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 la. And virtually no one teaches a silent Powa practice. And those who do teach it very cryptically. I spell it out and make it idiot-proof. So now it's time for just that, the silent rebirth practice. The first of 4 exercises is rooted in love. The loving desire to lavish everyone with an auspicious rebirth at the very end of their present life without any other inauspicious rebirths intervening. And we're going to do that just with the intention, may every living being take immediate and auspicious rebirth at the very end of their current life. And that's a lot of words and a lot of syllables, and if we used all those syllables on one breath, it would turn blue, tip over, a wiggle funny, and annoy the cat. No one wants that. So rather than use that wonderful but long sentence, we're going to reduce it to just 6 syllables. 3 syllables on the in-breath, 3 syllables on the out-breath. The entire phrase is, give to each, great rebirth. So we look down at the first silent exercise on page 129 and we read on the in-breath, give to each, on the out-breath, great rebirth. So let's play with that right now. Let's bring our tush to the edge of our chair, our feet flat on the floor, our left hand in our lap, palm up. Our right hand in our left, palm up. Thumbs do not touch. And we're not going to lie to ourselves and say, oh, my heart aches, to ensure the auspicious rebirth of all living beings because I'm just so spiritual. No. Okay, Sarah Bernhardt, knock off the waterworks. What we're doing is not trying to manipulate our emotions, but use words to guide our will, our volition, our intention. Give to each, great rebirth. Of course, this is not a reference that everyone, this is not, the intention is not that everyone die right now and eject their consciousness and take an auspicious rebirth. That would suck. The inference is that this takes place at the moment of their death. So, give to each, great rebirth. Second silent exercise, great rebirth, out, crown, wheel. So the inference is, okay, in order to manifest a great rebirth for myself, so either A, I can complete the spiritual path, or B, so that I can continue to keep coming back and blessing others in the most wonderful way. To make this happen, I intend to eject my consciousness up my central channel, out my crown wheel, and into the embrace of the Buddha of compassion. Now that's once again a whole lot of thoughts and words. We just simplify it down to great rebirth, out crown wheel. And that's all it takes. Let's play with that for 3 breaths. Now that we've generated good karma by embracing universal love. Well done. We've set our intention with the second exercise. Now with the third exercise, we're going to get more technical and work with the bliss that is inherent to the Changchen category of tantric meditations. I'm going to say medications. That's completely different. Okay. Wear a crown om, little teeny tiny white syllable om at the very crown of our head, the size of a mustard seed, or just a teeny tiny little O, whichever you prefer, comprised of white light. So in the in-breath we're going to ask, wear a crown om, and on the out-breath we intend releasing. Remember, these are rhetorical questions. We do not answer these questions. We simply ask them and let go. Wear crown om, releasing. Show me, won't you please? Now this is important. Letting go is integral to the spiritual path. There, some would say it's the highest teachings of Buddha is the art and habit of effectively letting go. So it does us no good to cling frightenedly to these exercises. These exercises only benefit us if they help us to let go. First exercise helps us to let go of selfishness. This third exercise is just helping us not only to be aware of the bliss of the process, but to let go of it. So let's play with that right now. Wear crown om, releasing. Now we're going to play with the one-syllable paradigm of the third exercise. Om on the in-breath, free on the out-breath. Like you're releasing a dove and saying, fly, be free. Om, free. Breathe generously. So remember the basic. Remember what we said about enlightenment. Remember we talked about in the first set of lesson texts. I'm sorry, the first set of lesson 1 videos. We talked about the 3 types of beings: Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and boobs. And we've all been boobs. We've all been Homer Simpsons. We've all been complete slaves to our impulses. And then a bodhisattva basically rebels against its impulses through the cunning use of Buddha's mental yogas of wisdom, peace, love, and joy. And that the only difference between a bodhisattva and a Buddha is that a Buddha is simply a bodhisattva who's mastered those 4 mental yogas to such a degree that he's able to practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. So the Buddhist path is about conditioning our habit energies of our heart and our mind in the most empowering way. So what we're doing here is we're conditioning ourselves to be more loving, to have a crystal clear intention, to use bliss and letting go in a skillful way. My friends, I thank you for your time and kind attention. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. I wish to draw your attention to the subscribe button, as well as the like button and the share button. Remember those links I told you below the video? You can use one of those links to help keep this monk fed, which is lovely. But if you can't afford to, don't worry. Just keep using these teachings. That's what's most important. There's also another link that you can use to register for the next series of live weekly webinars. When does the next one begin? Monday, the 6th of May. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.